Going? How are you all? I hope everything is going well, and if it is, that's good news. Apparently I am really organized today. We're going to be doing ghost towns, surviving the ghost town, or designing the ghost town, like one of those, something like that. This is all about me sort of doing all the back end stuff rather than the finished product. So you'll be seeing me doing a lot of sort of back end discussion. And while I wait for YouTube to figure out what they're going to do, so that I can press the button and go from here, we'll see. Who knows? Anyway, so I've got a poll. I'm going to run a poll so you have an opportunity to respond to that. Feel free to take part as much as you like. You can see before you the Game Master's Book of Random Encounters, and you can also see the Tome of Beasts. I have reviews on all of these, but that's not really why you're here today. You're here because you want to know about or talk about ghost towns. I've been promising this for a while. We've finally come around. Okay, it's going to happen. All right, so let me just unplug myself. I don't need to be able to hear myself while I'm doing this. That would be kind of strange and unnecessary. In any case, I can assure you that my little intro screen will make absolutely no sense for what I'm doing today, for those of you who are wondering what's going on. Anyway. Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Weller, and today I want to talk about surviving the ghost town. This is running an adventure for Game Masters. It's like a Game Master tutorial, but the difference being this isn't the complete tutorial. I'm actually building the tutorial today. And so that means that you have an opportunity to provide feedback and your input into the process, because I'm actually going to show you what I have. How's it going, Fred? How's it going, Norok? Norok is a patron and supports me on Patreon, so I can do this sort of thing. I'm glad that I'm doing something that he feels if this is your style, it's good news. Okay, I'm glad. It's good news. I do have some notes. I do have a few preemptive notes, but most of it will be built today with you. Okay, and you're probably wondering, why would you do this, Fred? Well, because it would take me close to a year to do it otherwise, and that's not what I want to do. I want to get it done. So I'm using this time to get it done, and I'm getting your feedback rather than doing it in Discord. How's it going, Buried Axe? I find it strange that all these decades of being a DM that I never used a ghost town. Talk about them plenty though, because there's a reason why I selected the ghost town as a go-to for an adventure. It's because it is the go-to. You know, it's the thing that you really want to talk about the most in a story and or an adventure. I'm not going to say so much of a story, but in an adventure. If you're going to run an adventure, a ghost town is a good place to go, right? There's a lot going on. Okay, let me just make sure I have my little screens up. I'm going to be taking a lot of the Lost Mon of Phandelver stuff that I've done in the past and repurposing it. I'm not destroying it, I'm just repurposing it, people. Okay, so don't get too upset if you see things going on. The intention is not to destroy, but to repurpose. So I will make sure I do that. I'm just going to copy this little section here. This is the Lost Mon of Phandelver. This is the ruins of Thunder Tree. The Thunder Tree should be a ghost town, but it's populated by the strangest monsters, and I have to say is poorly executed as a location. In every respect, it's not a great location. So I'm going to copy the entire presentation. I'm going to rename it because it needs a rename so I can use it. And that's that. And then we go here, paste. And then I believe I go over a little dash and then surviving a ghost town. Is that what we've got here? I believe so. Surviving ghost town. That'll do. I think that's got it right. Let's make a copy and see what we get. Come on, baby. Make it happen. Yeah. I think we've got it. I think that's done it. We've made a copy of that. It's called something else, which is exactly what I wanted to do. And yes. So I'm going to be taking a lot of what I've done in the past here and breaking it into something else. So that's not destroyed, it's just being repurposed. Okay, next is the Google document, which is, you won't have seen this unless you are a patron. You won't have seen the Google document, this Google document at all. You only have seen portions if you're a patron, because I put them all the stuff for Lost Mine of Fandel, but all the DM handouts are all on Patreon. Okay, so it's not lost material, people. It's just being repurposed for something a bit more general. Okay, how are you doing? How's it going to be? How are you? Man, I still remember the dragon fight. The dragon fight in the Ruins of Thunder Tree is the best bit about the entire location, and frankly everything else, I said it again, you could call me Frank, is not great. It's the rest of it is not very good. So try surviving Ghost Town. All right. Make these copies before I start doing other things with it. Okay, so that is the Ruins of Thunder Tree. We're not destroying that, we're just taking that out. Okay, so now I just need to remove a bit of artwork and replace some names, which I'll do fairly quickly. You have used a castle of undead, but not a ghost town. Well, I feel like I mean, seriously, let's get real. Like that's a good place to go. Running adventures. GM tutorial. Yeah, is it the right one? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Running adventures. GM tutorial, and we'll center this. So I have a list of topics that I need to put in here today. These are the ones that I've selected. So the purpose of a ghost town, which is really discover the mystery. A ghost town is all about the mystery. Okay? Wandering monsters, random encounters, role-playing NPCs, which really just basically means role-playing ghosts. Crumbling buildings as hazards, empty buildings, going to be a lot of empty buildings, church, cemetery, very common to have them in a ghost town, the tavern, the abandoned house, the store, the general store. These are all locations that are very common to utilize. And then the ghost, which is all about, ghosts aren't necessarily about fighting in a role-playing game. They're all about determining what the unfinished business is. So those are the things that I'm going to port into here today. And of course you will have an opportunity to port in your own ideas as well. I'm getting rid of Wizards of the Coast artwork right now. Don't need that. And this is survive. I'm struggling. Surviving a ghost town, which could also be called designing a ghost town. I could call it that, but I thought surviving a ghost town just felt better. A lot of this won't make any sense right now, so I'll just take out this artwork for now and transpose the suitable images as a replacement. Copy. So for anybody who's been not been here before, often you'll find there's a lot of me doing sort of reformatting and stuff before I sort of get into the main gist of it. I'll generally try to be very quick about the whole process, but yeah. Dragon fight, that they negotiate with the dragon and promise tasty goblins back at the Goblin Cave. Well, that seems like a legitimate approach. I think that is a legitimate approach. Invite them to the Goblin Cave for feeding. So I'm kind of curious. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. There we go. We'll see how long my voice holds up. I can already feel it starting to leave me. Man, I can't believe that I wrote so much stuff here. I was going to say something else, but that I wrote so much stuff here. Like, you can't even see this. It's so small, probably. Okay, so D&D Beyond, you're gone. We don't need you anymore. I do not have a sponsor for this. Okay, so don't think that I'm going to be using sponsors for it because there isn't any. This is a ghost town. Here we are, ghost town, and we'll go down, bring that up. It's in the center. We'll get rid of this. Where am I? I'm going to have to find myself a map of a ghost town at some point. Something that I can use, port over, and as a demonstration. So for those of you who are wondering, like, what's the deal, Fred, with this? I do actually have some maps of ghost towns that I can use in the future, because the idea is that I would make this a demonstration, not just a talky video or live stream. It is intended to be a demonstration video or live stream. And I do have ghost town maps, so there will be something going there, and I will be using a physical map on my other webcam. Okay, so if you're wondering, don't worry about it, it's all good. Okay, this can go as well, we don't need that. There's a lot of long pieces, so I can probably just copy this section here and drop these in fairly quickly. And that's fine. I don't need to position everything right now. Wizards of the Coast, you're gone. And drop that there for now. Good. So I've become more and more aware that when I do this, it's not really helping a lot of people. So I'm going to try to be fairly quick about the layout of this stuff, so we get into the actual topic itself. So I totally understand if you feel like you've jumped in and you didn't get what you were expecting. But I can assure you that the future is bright, because I don't think you're going to see anything like it anywhere else. Who have we got here? Throw a Brick. Hello, Throw a Brick. How are you, Throw a Brick? I want to make a Coneyberry, a ghost town to lie and to tie in Agatha. So the wolf totem dudes, and maybe the orcs from the... Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay. You're talking about... yeah, okay. That's from Dragon of Icespire Peak, correct? And the orcs from Icespire Peak here. I get where you're going with this. I have made Thunder Tree a resettled town to start the Los Montefidelfa adventure on. Oh, really? Wild West ghost towns are typically buildings on each side of one street. Yes, that's true. I'm as I've said before, I am a big fan of the old Western movie, North American West. It's one of those places where I can't count the number of old westerns I have watched over the years. There's many, and I have many in my little library of videos that I still hang. Well, do I hang with them? I still watch them. This is all Wizards of the Coast stuff. I'm just going to just take out the ones that are the same shape for now. So, ding. Let's just keep going. That's not Wizards of the Coast, but it won't be appropriate for what we're doing, so we'll take it out. A lot of the art's going to be very different, I think, in that slideshow when it's ready to go. And yeah, it'll take a little time. It's fine though. And this one was long, if I remember right, because there were so many locations. It's a square mostly, so let's just grab this one, which is longer. Not really going to be using that. Well, I suppose you could, but it's not Wizards of the Coast. It's kind of creepy. I will leave it. I don't know what to do with it right now. I don't want to figure that one out yet. And we'll drop that. We don't need this anymore. One of the things about the Ruins of Thunder Tree is it just makes no sense that you have such a densely packed location full of twig blights, and there's cultists, there's giant spiders, there's ash zombies, like there's just everything under the sun. It's so busy. It's absolutely nuts just how much is going on. Love me an old western. Ah, yes. I watched the D&D movie yesterday. I liked it. Worth watching. Hello, Dan. How are you doing, Dan? So Dan is a patron, supports me on Patreon, so I can do this sort of thing. And so Dan, the reason I didn't upload everything from last week is because I ran out of time and I went to the movies myself. So you went and watched the D&D movie, and you liked it. It's worth watching. I went and saw Shazam 2: Fury of the Gods, because that's currently out. It's not, the other movie is not available in New Zealand. I know there's going to be a few people asking me, am I going to go and see the movie? My family do not understand. If I were to say, no, I'm not going to go to the movie because I'm boycotting it because of Wizards of the Coast, my family would not get it. They just don't get that. They know how much I like D&D. Okay? So that just wouldn't make any sense. They all want to go and see it. So I will go watch it. But that doesn't mean I don't have to, I'm not really sponsoring Wizards of the Coast, because Paramount's going to get most of the money from that movie, people. Do you know what I mean? So, if you're feeling on the fence and you don't know what to do with yourself, just go see it. Go find out for yourself, If you want to hold out for a little bit longer, then hold out for a bit longer. But I think ultimately in the end, does it really matter? Because really, the only one who's going to make the serious money off that movie is Paramount. It's not Wizards of the Coast. Okay. We're almost through all of the ditch all the images. There's, as you can see, there's a lot of different panels in this little sucker. I'm glad that you found the movie enjoyable, by the way, Dan. It might take me a little while to catch up on all the stuff that I have missed putting up onto Patreon, but it will happen. It will happen. Okay, so I want to go here. I want to get rid of this thing with that. Copy it. All right. How am I doing? Have I managed to get all of the Ripple-y images out fairly quickly this time, or have I taken forever? I'm kind of curious now. I will look in a second. Send to the back. Okay. All right. Okay. So that means all of the stuff that was there before that I really don't want to be using again is gone, and it's now changed. It's going to be about the topics that I've just talked about, putting them in the right order. I think that is going to be the secret here. So yeah, Dan is a patron and a moderator, for those of you who don't know. And so Dan, I believe it's probably going to be about 3 weeks before I do the next book review, but we'll be going over Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition, since Dan has sent me the Player's Handbook and the Dungeon Master Guide. So you're going to see a lot of me working on the role-playing game I've been putting together. Cloning, you might say, retro cloning or something. Who knows? Whatever it is that I'm doing. Okay, the hat's got to go. I'm getting hot. I'm starting to feel it. Lots of monsters, and we kill them all. Dear. I will see the D&D movie when the DVD is in the discount bin. Oh, that's fine. That's fine, Fred. You do what you need to do. Are you going to take my group to the movie, I think? Okay. How's it going, Spirit Wolf? How are you doing? Okay. Let's get these titles that I mentioned before into the slideshow so that it can actually move into the... Because the work is going to be done in the Google document. Let's get real. That's where all the work is going to be done, right? So this has got to be called Ghost Town. Purpose of a Ghost Town. Purpose of a... Oh, sorry. Ghost Town. For those of you who wonder why I'm always burping and I always seem to have gas or struggling to speak at times, it's health issues, and I have no control over it. There's nothing I can do about it. There really isn't. So if you were wondering why that always seems to be something you notice with me, that's what's going on. Okay? All right, so we're not going to go one. This is just going to be Wandering Monsters. Wandering Monsters are going to be a little bit different in a ghost town, by the way. But we'll get to that in a second. I just want to get the titles in. I think that's right. Next one. This is, I was toying with the idea of separating wandering monsters and random encounters. But I think maybe I'll make them their own thing. Why? I don't know how to explain it right now, so I'm not going to try. I think what I will do is I will just, yeah, I'll just leave that bit for now, and I'll just do it. I'll make it a separate slide. I kind of know what I want to say here already, and it's really doesn't look anything like your wandering monster. Okay, wandering monsters. Yeah, I think that's good enough. We'll move on to the next one, and actually, it's probably not the right order. So let's just go here, here, here. I've done this one. I'm not going to put this one here just yet. What I will do is I will line up for I think maybe I should lead off with the main thing that revolves around a ghost town, which is ghosts, and then start looking at location. I don't know how people feel about that idea, but I'm thinking maybe that's the best way to look at it, is maybe I'll go with that as the approach. How do people think? What are people thinking when I say I'll go with a ghost first? It's not a ghost town if it doesn't have at least one ghost. It would just be an abandoned town or ruin. Exactly, Norok, exactly. Abandoned town city often associated with failed mines. Yes, they are. There is no real and not there. There are no really random encounters. Just the DM believing the roll of the dice or not. So yes. So Fred, you make a good point. Random encounters aren't really that random. They are, I guess you would say, they are mobile encounters. That's probably a better description of them. So, role-playing ghosts. I have here role-playing NPCs, but that's probably not what we need to do. So we're going to be here, role-playing ghosts. Why is it wanting to do this? It believes I spelt it incorrectly. Role-playing. Okay, fine. You stupid thing. There you go. You happy? Is that sufficient? Will I put a big P here and you'll be happier? Role playing? Alright. Role playing ghosts. So we'll put that next. So we get 4 different things and then we'll go into locations. Alright, so ghost. There. I've pulled role playing NPCs and ghosts together because you're really probably not going to be doing very much else. This is location. The purpose of the ghost town is to tell the story of a great disaster, war, or hardship of the past through physical representation and to inspire people to make sure history doesn't repeat itself. Norok, are you trying to write this for me? I mean, you're right. It's true. I agree. And your comment is pretty spot on. So I guess what we'll do is we'll do that. And have I got copy paste this? No, undo. That's not what I want to do here. So let's go here. Running adventures. Running adventures. GM game master tutorial and the topic is surviving a ghost town. Okay, so that's that bit done mostly. Let's scroll on down here. And purpose. A ghost town. Alright, there we go. That's in. I shouldn't be shifting over to this so quickly, but Norok's done such a great job of condensing it. I'm just going to pluck it. So if you were expecting that I would not be taking some of the ideas that you present here, you're wrong. I will probably rewrite it a little bit, but I think Norok, you got it spot on without formatting. Okay, we'll come back to you. Okay, there we go. All right, next, back to where I was trying to get this done, which is laying out the different locations, crumbling buildings, empty buildings. This is what I want to say. I know you all want to get straight into just let's start writing up the stuff. I totally get it, but I need to get the layout done. Okay, ghosts with personalities that will talk to NPCs versus ghosts that just cause trouble and or attack. Yes, Fred, that's exactly where I'm going. The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, the old TV show and a movie done at least twice. I don't quite understand. I don't know who that is. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Sorry. So first one is crumbling buildings. We'll do that. Crumbling buildings. It doesn't look quite right. Let's do this. Yep, that's better. And this should be number 1. And we'll go down and we'll just adjust that. That's cool. Crumbling buildings, number 1. So number 2 is going to be empty buildings. You're going to have a lot of empty buildings. It is necessary because when you're doing a ghost town, this is more of a horror. And the important aspect of horror is a lot of empty space. You do not want to be just throwing creatures and monsters and lots of things going on all the time. It doesn't work. It's one of the biggest aspects that people get wrong with Dungeons and Dragons, because they figure Dungeons and Dragons is about fighting monsters, and so they just fill up the space. But whatever role-playing game you're playing, no matter what role-playing system it is, it's a universal. You do not throw too many fights at them. You want to have a lot of empty space to build tension. If you don't do that, it doesn't work. Okay, next. I'm actually going to go, maybe you'll agree or disagree with the order that I'm laying out here, but I think I'm going to go into the cemetery. Like if Boots Hill, the cemetery, it's probably the first place you're winding up. Do you know what I mean? And it'll be the town cemetery. Town cemetery. Did I get it right? I think I did, roughly. Something like that. Okay. The cemetery. 4. Number 4. I'm gonna say the church. When you're dealing with ghosts, you're kind of dealing with religion, and so the cemetery and the church are probably your most common aspects. So, town church. Sorry. Do I want to say cursed church? It's probably not so much cursed. It'll be abandoned church. It'll be something. It's the town. Yeah, I'll just say town church. Town church. 1 temple building in perfect condition. Oh, okay. The ghost in Miss Muir. The ghost of the sea captain inhabits an old house or lighthouse. Woman moves in. Ghost doesn't like it at first, but gets to enjoy her company. Oh, good Lord. All right, okay. It's a sitcom. If we're talking about ghosts, I highly recommend Griselda's Guide to Ghost Hunting. Good third-party book. I shall post it in the Discord. Okay, thank you, Norok. Next, so we've got church, got cemetery marked down. Believe we are next on to this one. Is this what it is? 1, 2, 3. How many have I got here? crumbling, empty, town cemetery, church. Next one is 5. Sorry about that, people. 5, and we're dealing with... God, what was it? The next thing that's most likely to be the thing you come across. It is the abandoned house. There'll be many of them. Whoops. Abandoned. Abandoned house. The abandoned houses, you could have multiple of them, but it's the most common thing you're going to have in any kind of ghost town is your abandoned house. Moving down, we're going to go into here. This is... And that is supposed to be number 6. And I believe it is the general... Did I say the abandoned house? The general store. Got the abandoned house general store. What is the purpose of a general store in a ghost town? Do people know? Because if it's not obvious from any stories that you've read or any movies you've watched, it's the resupply. It's the opportunity that there might be something left behind that is still intact that the players can use. That is the purpose of the general store. It's very similar to any general store in any town. The only difference is they don't have to pay money. That's one of the key differences, is like you just don't have to pay money. Yeah? Tavern. The next one I want to have here is 7 is tavern. Tavern. Town tavern. Town square, town tavern. Okay, I think... Hello, Michael. How are you doing? Michael is a patron and supports me on Patreon, so I can keep doing this sort of thing. So thank you for coming. I haven't used the ghost town in an adventure, but I really want to visit some real ones in real life. Okay, I noticed there's a lot of YouTube videos on ghost towns, but they feel very gimmicky. You could have an intelligent undead that can communicate possibly by be desperate for company. Yes, you could. You guys really want to get on to the actual topic. What I want to look, I'm ready to just about move on to the next thing. Are there any other locations that people can think of that would be in a ghost town that I have not mentioned? I've got space for 3 more potential locations that people might think would be something you probably want to be able to prepare and talk about. So this is your opportunity to throw them out there. I'll do a little hashtag. I'll leave those particular spaces free to be fiddled with. Hashtag. Is there a ghost town location I have missed? Question. I'm going to go max 3. I'm not doing the entire town. Max of 3. Important ones. Okay. Jail. The morgue or something like it. There's no morgue in a town. There's no morgue in the town. We're not doing the morgue. Nice try, but no on the morgue. Somewhere to lock up criminals, jail. Yeah, okay. I'll put the town jail in. I kind of figured somebody would say something about the town jail. Jail. The jailhouse. Jailhouse rock. Jailhouse rock. Here we go. We'll put in the jailhouse. 8. The jailhouse. I'll put just town for now. Town jailhouse. There we go. Okay, so I've added town jailhouse. It's on the list. There are 2 more spaces, and then that'll be stables. Maybe library. I don't think so. What do you got here? Okay, so yes, Fred, you've got the jail. Michael, you've got the jail. It's down. Okay. Spirit Wolf, given special item or treasure map from Ghost that for doing some task. Yeah, you guys want to start talking about the Ghost, don't you? Right now, I think you have pointed out where we will have to start. Okay, okay. A library is great for a ghost town. Lots of lost knowledge locations can always be uncovered there. The problem with a library is it's not something that would be very commonly found in a town. Do you know what I mean? A small town is probably not going to have a library. So I know what you're trying to do there, but it's probably not going to be the thing that you want to. You're probably going to have to use a different location to drop information. Yeah. Um, you're all sort of stables. Not sure if graveyard was mentioned. I've got cemetery, so graveyard is pretty much the same thing. The graveyard keeper shacks possibly old rough putter. We'll leave this for now. We'll leave those two for now. If I see somebody mention something that seems to sort of jump out at me, but library doesn't jump out at me, I think it would be something else. I know what you're trying to do with the library, but it's probably something else. The schoolhouse. The schoolhouse makes sense. The schoolhouse. The schoolhouse does actually make sense. Myers Mansion. Oh, the rich home. Yeah, I suppose that's quite common too, isn't it? As you do have the mansion. Not necessarily Myers Mansion, but you do have a mansion. So I'll put schoolhouse down. It was not lost on me, schoolhouse. And Fred, you mentioned stables, and it was very tempting to put stables because it's one of the most identifiable things within a town, particularly the Old West. And I was trying to think what's the purpose, because when we pick a location for a ghost town, it has to have a purpose. That's the tricky thing. So schoolhouse. The schoolhouse is what the library's trying to do. You're much more likely to have a schoolhouse than a library. So that's your schoolhouse is doing what your library's trying to do, people. Okay? Which is basically info. It's an info dump. Because there will be books there. If they're still intact, it is. One room school. Yes, the one room school. Yes, I agree. One room school. And the last one I'm going to leave as I don't really know. We might even get rid of it. We might even get rid of it. It doesn't need to be necessarily 10 locations. I'm just going to put a question mark here for now. Okay. Yes, left on the chalkboard. It might be a diary entry and that's been left in a book. Or a chalk slate. They used to use the old chalk slates in the older schools, didn't they? A message on the that changes in the chalkboard. Yeah. No, I agree. Okay, so let me transfer what I have here in terms of headers over to the Google document as quickly as I can. And so after the purpose, we had wandering monsters, random encounters. Wandering monsters, random encounters. So, wandering monsters. Random encounters. What was the next thing I had on my little list of things? Role-playing ghosts, that's right. And since everybody wants to talk about ghosts and role-playing them, we'll do this. Well, this is the first one we'll start with, okay? It's kind of like it's the central hub of anything to do with a ghost town anyway, isn't it? Role-playing ghosts, the crumbling buildings and empty buildings. Crumbling buildings, empty buildings. Pardon me. Crumbling buildings. And number 2 is empty. Empty buildings. What have we got here? 3-story building. Bottom floor is the horseshoes, tool repair. 2 floor, the barber. 3rd floor, apothecary. Yes, apothecary or dentist office. I'll think about those, people. I'm just gonna let that sit for a little while and percolate. Yeah, I'm not going to commit just yet, because we could come up with many different locations, but there's a point where, like, which are the ones you're really going to use the most? Do you know what I mean? Rather than trying to cover every single location in a town, I've got to be careful about this. Otherwise, I'll find myself in a bit of a quagmire. Ghost town cemetery, ghost town church. So I think this is what I wanted to do here. 3. So cemetery and church. Okay. 3. Ghost town cemetery. Is that right? No. No, that looks wrong. Cemetery, thank you. Number 4. Number 4. Press the 4 might help. And this is Ghost Town Church. Town Church. Church, temple, whatever you want to call it. So after the Ghost Town Church, what do we have here? We had the abandoned house and the general store. Abandoned house, general store, 5. Abandoned house. And 6 should be general store. General store. No, we're on to 6. So we're now on to... So tavern, jailhouse. Tavern, jailhouse. Come on. There's town. Tavern, which is your pub. And jailhouse is 8. Yes. Ghost town. Yeah. Ghost town. Sheesh. I missed it. What was it? It was tavern followed by jailhouse. Oh, good lord. Jailhouse, and it's 8, 9. Oh, what do we got here? You guys have been busy. Maybe a location underground, under the town somewhere, a location that a cult used or something. Players find a map for the location to get into it. Yeah. Maybe something like a warehouse. Excuse my language. That's all right. Oh, a whorehouse. I see. Okay, I get it. All right. Yes, I was thinking something like that. Ghost town where the ghosts are actually goblins and sheets. I love it. What's Cora's Hotel that also had a floor that was for the and actually that's probably what we're looking for. How's it going, Vinny? Kitty, how are you doing? Does it have a tricky fay of the well yet? Now, I wouldn't say catacombs underneath a town, because a town's like a small location. But hotel brothel is probably, Matthew's probably right. Sorry, not Matthew. Michael's probably right on the money with that one. I would say it's probably the next thing that to consider. But it might be hotel inn. It might not necessarily be brothel. But let's go with jailhouse, schoolhouse. Let me add the schoolhouse after the jailhouse. Schoolhouse. Ghost town. Schoolhouse. A part of the reason why I'm making the headers say ghost town each time is because I've done one that's for a town itself. I do not want these to get confusing and mixed up, so I'm separating them a little bit. Okay, and then the hotel inn is probably right. Ghost town hotel or inn. And that is everything just about put where it needs to be. So this is the hotel. Now, or in. I think that's got it. I think that has got all our little bits and pieces that we needed. There we go. Nice. Not too bad. Almost an hour to do all of that, which I know is like appallingly bad, but now you can see how long it takes me to do all this sort of stuff. Hotel or inn. Okay. All right. I'm not doing very well. My parents are getting divorced. Run. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, are you serious? You this is probably not the best place to be bringing up something as sensitive as that, Vinny. So yeah, just hang out with us while we get stuff done. Sorry to hear about that. So maybe you just kill an hour with us as we go around and we talk about ghost towns and what you would do with a ghost town. Okay. Hotel based in Hotel California. You can check out anytime, but you can never leave. Yes, Fred. Yes. That's true. Okay. I'm going to open the door because I'm actually dying in here. I got rid of the hat already, and we're going to start with working our way through the role-playing of the ghost, because I know this is what people wanted to talk about ultimately. Right. That's better. Okay, drink of water, lozenge, and then I'm ready to go. This is probably way too small, so I will have to make it larger, so I will. Which means my head's probably in the way, so I will have to adjust the position of the head. My head? Your head? No, one of the heads. More water. It's a really warm day today. I probably should have left the door open from the very get-go, just so that my brain was working better. But anyway. Yes, no, I did. I didn't realise that you were going to share that particular aspect. I didn't expect that. I just don't want to wind up having you reveal your deepest, darkest, or your current issues on a live stream, which may not be very helpful for you. So if you weren't aware, I do have some training and counselling, but there's no way I would ever consider trying to do that in a live stream on YouTube. It's a very inappropriate place to do it. It's one of the reasons why I don't do dungeon master and player advice for dealing with, you know, problem dungeon masters or problem players. I don't do that sort of thing because yeah, that's all it was, Vinny. That's all it was. Anyway, role-playing ghosts. So first off, the inclusion of ghosts in a ghost town is vital. Vital. Otherwise, it's not really a ghost town. In a role-playing game. That's the first thing to remember with dealing with anything like this. Oh, I'm glad it isn't. I'm glad it isn't. But yes, sorry to hear about the family issues. Okay, so role-playing ghosts. Let's have a talk about this. This is the thing you guys have been wanting me to get into straight away, and I didn't get it straight into it. So now we're doing it now. We'll do it first. So that's the first thing. The thing to remember about the ghost is you can present it as a battle or a fight. You can present lots of different things as a battle or a fight. But it's not the interesting part of having a ghost in any kind of ghost town. That's the thing to remember, right? You can include a battle with a ghost, but that is not what helps drive a ghost or horror story. Horror story. No, the word adventure is probably better. Adventure. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say. That is certainly a possibility, but you don't need to do that necessarily either. Okay? Noisy ghosts, clanking chains, screams, wails, moaning. You're kind of jumping into something else. You can have a ghost town and there's only one ghost. That's fine. You can have other things going on there. That's the wandering monster and the random encounter stuff. I'll talk about that shortly. The key to a ghost interaction with player characters is helping to resolve the ghost's unfinished business. Now, that might be to help the ghost, or maybe it's as simple as having to make sure that the bones of the ghost are laid to rest. So they may find out the information about it, but they may not necessarily be doing the thing that the ghost wants. But it's basically to help resolve the ghost's unfinished business. So it is laid to rest. Laid. That's not laid. Laid to rest. What's the word that I'm wanting to look for here? Laid to rest. I'll just say that. That's the key. That's what we're trying to do. Okay. This is actually a huge distraction for me right now, so I'm going to take this little bit out here. That's really the best way to deal with a ghost. Sorry. Fight is to use what else was the other thing? Exorcism. What's the other one? Divine prayers. Okay, I'm going to leave that there as a little bit. Aid. Top of the hour. It is top of the hour. Oh, almost two minutes to go, and it's top of the hour. Now, what did you have here? I'm just checking back into chat. Yes, that's true. Ghosts that want to... Well, often that might be the case, yes. But that's just to stop them from resolving the unfinished business. That was actually the next thing that I needed to say, Fred, and that is a ghost can either be willing or unwilling to have the party of characters help them pass to the afterlife. Remember, if the afterlife for them is like heaven, fine. But if the afterlife potentially for them is hell because of what they've done, they probably don't want to be laid to rest at all. Because their existence as a ghost in the material world is going to be much better than going to hell. So a ghost can either be willing or unwilling to have the party of characters help them pass to the afterlife, because it can mean heaven or hell. Let's have a look here. So, did I get that there? Yes, I did. Okay. Yes, you can have ghosts that don't know that they're dead. It is now top of the hour for me, but let me read through here and then give you guys a task. What did Vinny say? Ghosts of old characters that the DM has killed either intentionally or accidentally. That's quite interesting, Vinny. I like that. That's pretty good. A lot of ghosts don't know they're dead. Yes, but so a ghost may not be aware that they are dead. if their reality is relived, repeatedly, relived each day of their existence. Relived. It's not really working. Relived. Relived, repeated, relived, repeated. Okay, so that's in. What do you got here, Fred? I was thinking there was something major that happened to the whole town, like some kind of gas leak, spell, something like that, or an army came through and killed them, or an evil god did a curse. Yes, all of these things definitely possibilities. Yes, they do, but yeah. Ghosts that are alive until a certain time or action happens. Oh, I see. Moon comes out, possibly. I'm most of the time an artificer bard or a druid bard. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Stuck in perjury. Yes. Yeah, their existence is like perjury. Yes, Michael, all of those are definitely possibilities. It's unfinished business of some kind. And buried axe, you can have a malevolent spirit as a ghost. It doesn't need to be a friendly. It doesn't have to be like Casper the Ghost. What's your favourite thing about being a DM? Rolling during a game to give the players a heart attack. Okay. Dear. Okay, well, thank you, Noroak. I'm not sure what you've uploaded, but okay. You can have a happy ghost. There's two possibilities really in all of this. Yes. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm now going to ask you a question. Okay, and then we're going to come back to this. Not so much about the ghosts, but more about wandering monsters. Okay, more about wandering monsters. All of this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. This is, yeah, let's get rid of all that. That's just confusing. Wandering monsters. Hashtag. What sort of wandering monsters do you find in a ghost town? Okay? That's my question. I'll let you guys come up with a couple of ideas. And then we'll come back to this, because there's a couple of different things I want to throw out here before we run out of time, which of course is likely. So yeah, have a think about that. Wandering monsters. It's a very, very simple one. We can get this done fast. I'll be back in 5 or less. Wow. That was a lot. Illusionary fairies. Ah, dear. A lich, you guys are going all over the place, aren't you? Okay, all right. It's a wandering monster, people. It's a wandering monster. It's not your big bad. It's a wandering monster. But you can do whatever you like with it, but yeah. Remember, wandering monster. So, I'm going to go to chat in a second. There's just a couple of things that I need to mention with regard to the wandering monster. The purpose of a ghost town is to tell the story of a great disaster, war, or hardship from the past. From the past. And I'm going to separate those sentences. The ghost town inspires people to make sure history does not repeat itself. Okay. We'll come back to these later. Right now they're not very helpful to us. So now back to Wandering Monster. Twig blights, forget about anything. Twig blights in a ghost town, don't even bother with that stuff, people. You don't want any of that. And okay. So first off, wandering monsters in a ghost town will tend to be undead and undead, unnatural, or spirits. Okay, that's the first thing you probably want to do with wandering monsters. The next thing, where are we? There's always room for you to adjust this, people. Okay, the next thing is the boundaries of a ghost town aren't as strict as other locations because there is no way to stop them roaming the whole town. So the boundaries of a ghost town aren't as strict as other locations because there is no way to stop the wandering monster roaming the whole town. So your boundaries are going to be a lot less hard and fast. Okay. The types of wandering monster are recommended to be a small selection. I will reiterate, wandering monsters are not random combat encounter tables, okay? Wandering monsters are a small selection. Types of wandering monsters are recommended to be a small selection of the following. And they're not. You're not looking to put in something that's a major hitter. So a lich would not be one, but skeletons. What do you call it? Zombies. Ghouls. Ghast. What else is there? Ghouls, ghasts, ghosts. Oh no, not ghosts. It's poltergeist, isn't it? Poltergeist. 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 Let's have a look at what you guys have put down. Let's have a look and see what you've got here. Low-ranking liches. No, Spirit Wolf. A lich is probably not a wandering monster. There is a very big difference between... where did I... Gosh, you guys have put so much stuff in here. Schedule the wandering monsters and track game time. This determines if the PCs encounter a wandering monster. So we'll talk about tracking. Okay. Since you've brought it up, I will say this right now as a next point, and that is resting in a ghost town is pointless because there will be too many restless spirits that can detect the living and disrupt their recuperation. Okay, resting in a ghost town. You kind of have to get out of the town. It is not intended to be a place where you would do the resting. So if they need to do that, they need to leave town and go a decent distance away. Okay. Next, what do you got here, Vinny? No, it's not. It's asking the players with the highest HP if they have any hit points right during a forest. Did I put down ghost? I put down poltergeist. Okay. I'm just differentiating the two. Really, I mean the ghost poltergeist. What's the going terminology of a poltergeist? Your poltergeist and your ghost are very similar. Let's go here and paste define. A ghost or a supernatural being supposedly responsible for physical disturbances such as making loud noises and throwing objects about. I think more definition. German poltergeist, polygeist. No, that'll do. Yeah, I'm just going to mark it down as poltergeist. I don't need this. Okay. Right, where are we? Cursed town where if you die there you become undead. Yes, yeah, possibly. Dice goblins have made the town their home. Alright. Wildlife. Bears, big cats, skunks, dogs, wolves, rats. I wouldn't do that myself as wandering monsters. I wouldn't put animals. Animals do not go near places that are haunted. One of the things you'll notice is the absence of animals, and that's a really good sign. So I wouldn't. I'd have a very different approach to this, Fred. There would be the absence of animals for me. Okay, and actually maybe I should add this into the random encounter stuff. I'll do that now. The absence of animals and wildlife in the ghost town. I would say that is a big factor, is you don't want to have that there. Anyway, I'll put that there for now. All right, so I'm not going to worry about Furies. Ghoulghast, I know we're moving on to a different subject, but what about the madam in the brothel? Had all her girls killed, and it's her and her girls that are ghosts. Well, if that's what you want to do, that's cool. And we can get back to. I see what you want to do. You want to put this into a section on the. All right. Let me just port over your idea, Michael. I see what you're trying to do here. Hotel. Where's Hotel California? Cultists farmhouse. No, none of this. None of this. This is all not going to be useful at all, so we'll ditch it. And Michael, your idea, I will just chuck in there for now. I'll come back to it. Man, you guys have dropped so much in here so quickly. Very hard for me to keep up. Bearded Axe. Jeez, you guys are so quick. Well, there's 16 of you and you're all going like Okay, let's go here. I'll take this. I'll chuck this in here for now. Without formatting. Okay? Alright, okay. Right, what do we got here? Ghosts, poltergeists, ghost knights, death knights. I don't think a death knight is something you want to make a random encounter. I think it's, or even a ghost knight. I think that would be, I mean, a ghost as a knight, yes. A death knight itself, I don't know about that. Do you know what I mean? But ghosts can be anything under the sun. So let's go back to wandering monsters and finish this little section up. Where are we? Random encounters, ghosts. So we were trying to fill in this bit here. White can be drawn to a ghost town due to the energies. So that's right. White. I would go with a white. I wouldn't do it too often though. But yeah, skeletons, zombies. Yes, spirit wolf. Buried axe. You've got here above the trapdoor in the ceiling is a rug of smouldering, a skeleton horse in a stable with a saddle of encumbrance. Yeah, so the skeleton horse is actually not a bad idea, actually. Skeleton horse. We'll put that in. Undead boss, the lich, not as a random, not as a wandering monster. Old griffin with a broken wing that has an set stable. Yeah, that'll all work for your game. Hag, fey, no, I'll leave them alone. Lich, no. Revenant. A revenant. The problem with a revenant is they're so difficult to get rid of. I would not make them a wandering monster. A revenant feels like it needs to be a something else. It needs to be tied to your adventure in some way. Because dealing with a revenant, as you probably already know, is really difficult. You just can't get rid of them until they completed their task, whatever the heck that might be. Yes, you have definitely provided me shades, shadows, shadowy creatures. Man, there's so much feedback today. I'm just going to struggle to keep up with it all. Bone golem. I would not make a bone golem. A bone golem's just too tough for as a wandering monster. Yes, you deliver chaos, but you deliver a lot of really useful information. Poison tumbleweeds driven by the wind. Poison tumbleweeds. That's your random encounter, people. Not your wandering monster, but here we go. Poison tumbleweeds driven by the wind. I wouldn't call it a wandering monster. I would call it something you use as a random encounter. But then it's up to you. Guys, the worst monster you can find in a ghost town is a... right, okay. Yeah, it's a bard. Always. Hellhounds. Hellhounds actually a really good idea too, Michael. Hellhounds work quite nicely. Particularly if you're dealing with hellhounds who are trying to track down and drag somebody to hell. If that's what you're using them for. Hellhounds aren't necessarily bad, by the way. For those of you who have not seen my live stream on Hellhounds, when I ever get round to releasing the edited version, Hellhounds are just... They can act as guides too. So Hellhounds are actually not a bad idea. What else? Yes, at night would be the best time, obviously. Intelligent flesh golems, Frankenstein. I think that's not a wandering monster. You got a 1 minute lag here. Fleas eating plants. Spirit wolf, that's funny. Some undead captain too, maybe not a... it's easy to kill, perhaps. Undead captain, low ranking liches. No, Norik, that would be... elemental creatures summoned by a high level undead. Elemental creatures? Elementals are... I'm trying to keep it with the theme of ghost and scary and abandoned. So, elemental, possibly, Fred. Possibly. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking wind elementals, aren't you? You're thinking air elementals. It would be... Would it be there? I don't really feel like it's that. I feel like it's somewhere else. Strong winds or storms. I'll put that there. I think that's where my head is at. Undead monks can come across in a ghost town is a curse that can you may have caused the town's population to flee and die. Not necessarily the monsters themselves. Yes, that's true. Demons, devils. Demons and devils. Demons and devils. Ghost town. I feel like it's too broad now. Demons and devils. I suppose you could, but okay. Cursed monks again, eh? A lot of... I see that you guys really want to go with the curse thing. The town that appears and then disappears. Okay, all right. You guys are going with the witches. You guys are really throwing a lot of ideas out there. There's resting in ghost town and characters backstory. Sure, cool, blimey. Yes, and this is why I said poltergeist. The police died and is an undead. Yeah. Yes, undead animals, that's different. Ghostly animals, yes, that's falling into ghosts. So ghosts don't need to be humans or humanoids, they can be animals, that's fine. But I would not put the living animals in there, that would not make a lot of sense. Undead beholder as a wandering monster, I don't think so. Geez, there's a lot of stuff here. Tumbleweeds that burst into flames. Oh, really? Raised like the dead. Is there such a thing as an undead beholder? There is. There's the zombie beholder. There is an undead beholder. You can have any kind of beholder you like, but yes. An ever-smoking bottle that has been left in a fireplace, smoking continuously, making the building appear uninhabitable. Okay. Wow. Jeez. Core blimey. That could be very many lanterns, maybe broken glass wheels. Okay, alright. Ghosts. Well, maybe the ghosts are affecting the tumbleweeds moving around. That's certainly a nightmare. A nightmare, yes. A nightmare, as in a black horse. That is a nightmare. Nightmare. Yes, a nightmare was a good idea. Poison tumbleweeds. Well, that's why it's in the random encounter one. Of poison tumbleweeds. Earth elemental constantly digging and finding graves. I suppose that would be possible, yes. Saddle of endurance, not encumbrance. Okay, alright. The treasure list. Okay, planar beings, imps. Okay, alright, so I've got to the bottom. Alright, so here's where we're going to lead this into. We've got a bunch of different sort of undead-like things that would be able to exist around other spirits, okay, as wandering creatures that aren't so powerful as to overshadow everything else. I think that's really needs to be the purpose of a wandering monster. We're not trying to throw like a great, huge, big, mega beastie at them. That's cruelty. And I might put something else there, but right now I'm going to leave it for now. Okay. I think that's all I wanted to say with wandering monsters. No, there's one other thing. Don't use wandering monsters as a battle too often, and only as required because it breaks tension in players. Unless you're dealing with a wandering monster they have to run away from, it'll break tension. This is one of the things with combat always does, is break tension. So you've got to be very careful about how you do it. Okay. All right. Random encounters. Evidence of living animals, people and wildlife in a ghost town. So, what was I going to say here? Let's get rid of the twig blight nonsense. Let's dump all of that because I don't need it. There's a chance they might discover information about the ghost town. So speak with plants is one of those good things, because plants, you might still have plants in the area, but you wouldn't have a lot, and they would be very hardy plants, but you won't have animals. And it's not really a random encounter that I'm wanting to deal with. So here we go. Random encounters in a ghost town. Are not monsters to fight. Okay, you don't want to do that if you can help it. Random encounters in a ghost town are not monsters to fight. Select events. Or supernatural phenomena. Did I get it right? Okay. Phenomena. No, supernatural phenomena. Okay. Isn't a combat monster and it's very pesky? Well, I suppose you could use that. Speaking with poisoned tumbleweeds. Yes, that would be funny. Undead phase spiders. Oh, good lord. Okay. Ah, the will-o'-the-wisp. I see you. Oh, good lord. Where have we gone to? Grave robbers, planar beings. Good lord. Way too many ideas here. There are way too many ideas. I'm struggling to keep up with it all. Somebody had mentioned something and I wanted to write it down. I've missed it. Ah, here we go. Now, hang on. Will-o'-the-wisp. I feel like will-o'-the-wisp is more of a forest, fey, swamp, marsh, forest, fey, swamp, marsh creature. It's it's now viewed as like being undead, and I feel like it's really weird what they've done with it in D&D 5e right now. So here, okay. All right, so I'm going to throw a couple of ideas. Here are a few different random encounters that can be placed at specific points during the adventure, if it makes sense. And let me just highlight all this, change it over to that. Okay. Hashtag random non-combat. Really important, people. Oh, good lord, encounters. That's what you want. Okay. That's why I like the poison tumbleweeds driven by the wind, and strong winds or a storm, which, you know, it might be a product of elementals, it might be just a product of the spirits, it might be a product of the environment, whatever it is. The absence of living animals, people, and wildlife in the ghost town. Select events or supernatural phenomena. So, I guess it is sort of the most common thing is to have like a scene from the past, a scene of the local population replaying in ghost form or in a scene of the local population replayed in ghost form. So a common scene of the local population replayed in ghost form. That's what we want. Okay, next one. So what is it? What's the old name for the? In the westerns they had the carriage. Is it not the carriage? The stagecoach. A stagecoach or wagon. An apparition. That's what I wanted. Apparition. An apparition of stagecoach or wagon coming and leaving the ghost town. Okay. Too many locked doors. Yeah. So my understanding is that tumbleweeds are naturally quite poisonous. They're not just razor sharp, but they've got something in them that causes all sorts of horrible things. Vinny, what do you got here? I was thinking of more like the friendly creature that will help the party send the ghosts into an afterlife using will-o-wisps. Pictured a creature that can access and give access to. I see what you're going with that. Well, I suppose that's very true, but I'm not gonna put down. Yeah. Haunted beings. Question: is this set in a desert? Well, it could be set in a desert. It might not be set in a desert. So I guess if it's in a forested location or near a forest, you could have will-o'-the-wisps. So I guess I'm just thinking in terms of this is not set anywhere particular because I've got a couple of maps that are sort of different types of towns. So we'll put it down below. Will-o'-wisp. Will-o'-wisp. Okay. House gods. I like the idea of friendly ghost helping the party out, perhaps watching over them if they need to take a rest or warning the party of something. Pretty good idea. The ghost town can actually be anywhere. Yes, exactly, it can. A cursed set of gambling items. Right. There's rather a lot you can do with this. I can see this now. I'm starting to realise that it's clear that people want to talk more about this, and I'm not going to be able to keep up with everything. So I'm thinking what I need to do is each of my headings I need to put in at least one sentence, so that when we come back to this, we can fill it out a little bit more and deal with a lot of the stuff that has been discussed so far. So that's what I probably will wind up doing, is just smashing my way through a little bit of this. Let's go here. Here we go. This here. Okay, so a crumbling. So I'm going to go through the different locations. We've got 10. And as quickly as I can, and just come down with a key point about each one. So if I'm not paying attention to the live stream chat, you guys just talk to each other if need be. I just want to get this down as fast because I've got less than 20 minutes to make that happen. A crumbling building makes a great place to explore, but more important, it is a hazard. It's a hazard of a ghost town. So, palace place. That's what you're really wanting to do with your ghost town with a crumbling building. It's your hazard, okay? And we will move on to the next one. Empty buildings. So why do you have empty rooms in a dungeon? It's the same reason why you have empty buildings. Empty buildings. Buildings allow for exploration. but also present space to build tension in players as they navigate the town. Ghost town. Okay. There's a reason for doing it, and it is very much around tension. Okay. As I said before, the last thing you want to do is make everything a fight. So that's what that's doing there, is your empty building. And I'll come back and I'll talk more about this some other time, but not right now, obviously. You have to go, Michael. I'll see you later. Great stream. I'm glad you had a good time. It looks like you got lots of ideas. For those of you who are itching and scratching yourself to write an adventure, we're writing an adventure tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow's live stream is all about writing adventures. So it's a very short presentation followed by a lot of building an adventure. I feel like we might wind up making a ghost town adventure tomorrow, which means a lot of the ideas are kind of being spilled and brought out today. But we'll see how people feel about that anyway. Undead rats. Yeah, I suppose you could have undead rats. So where was this? I'll just mark down undead rats. How's that? It's not a bad idea. Oh, there are so many sirens going off right now. Yeah, suggest investments that are good and evil. Ghost Guardian, like for its replacement. Ghost towns can actually be anywhere. Okay. Hey, locked doors and rotten frames, jams. They spend all their time picking the lock, push the door open, and it just falls over. Oh, that's just cruelty. Beard Axe, that's cruelty. It's funny, but it's still cruelty. Okay. All right. So the ghost town cemetery. Well, we're not going to be having webbing going on here. A lot of this doesn't really apply. And I know people have been talking a lot about spiders and throwing that idea out there as like, let's stick it into a ghost town. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Let's just do this instead. Drop that down. Move that around. Have I got it? Okay, good. Back hurts too much. You got to go? No problems. If your back's hurting, it's time to move on. Absolutely. They're coming to take you away. An army of whites. Another. Oh, good lord. The trickle of a stream is so much larger. Flash floods, Okay, washing several feet away deep. You've got a lot of going on there, Beard Axe. So this is your ghost town cemetery is where a lot of your unrest might exist. So this is you'll probably find your exposed graves, what else? Your cemetery is probably going to have your warning. There is likely a warning about what happened to a ghost town near or in the cemetery. Cemetery in the form of a sign. Warning or clue about what happened to the ghost town near or in the cemetery in the form of a sign. So warnings about a ghost town work better in the cemetery because it is usually on the outskirts of the town. Okay, that's why you put it there. Wet, dead. I'll come back to that. Exposed graves. Come back to that. Okay. It was open from the inside. Hi, prepare, cook and survive. How are you doing? Boot Hill has a still standing, very sturdy fence and a bronze gate with the hearse wagon intact inside. Yep, you certainly could do something like that. I'll tell you what, I'll drop the idea in there now. I'll just cut it straight out of the chat. I'm not going to do anything with that right now. I just want to make sure I get down the bits and pieces that I need to for now. Okay, so the Ghost Town Church. This doesn't, none of this applies. We're not putting a dragon in here, so let's get rid of that. Presents, no, none of this works. Take all of this out. So your Ghost Town Church, what is it trying to achieve for your story? This is probably one of the harder things to deal with. It's usually there, but how it works in a ghost town is probably the harder things to answer. So I'm going to leave that for now, and I'm going to just keep moving, because I know I'm going to run out of time otherwise. I have essentially run out of time. It's now 1:52. I should be on my bike. Okay. So, no, we're not referring to any of this stuff where it's not a smithy. So, stitch this. General store. Okay, this is what I can fill in now. Oh, hang on. The abandoned house. The abandoned house is something that can be reused multiple times throughout a ghost town. Now, the remains of a house will offer equipment and clues to the life of the residents before they died or left. So that's really what essentially another way of dropping clues and resupplying your group, right? That's often what the abandoned house is all about. This here, the purpose of the general store in a ghost town is to provide some gear or equipment that the players' characters don't need to pay for. That's primarily, but there's more to it than that, so I'm going to have to leave it. I'm going to go here and just go numbers, and this is numbers, and the tavern, none of this works, take that all out. The tavern is no, we'll leave that for now. Leave this for now. I'll take that out. I have not been able to get as much done on this as I'd hoped, but that's all right. You guys have really spat out lots of ideas. The schoolhouse, though, house is the opportunity for a game master to drop information about the town in the form of written messages from the past. So that is really what your schoolhouse is doing. And this is blackboard, because you would have your blackboard, you would have books, you'd have diaries, and I could go on, but I am not going to have time, so I'm just going to highlight this. Next, ghost town, the hotel. Okay, we're well and truly over time for me now, so I'm going to have to just do this and grab that. So we'll come back to ghost towns, obviously, people. It's not like I've finished. It's just that I haven't had time to finish it all. Okay, and there's a lot to discuss and to build out. And this doesn't apply. You won't be giving out that sort of thing. That advice is sort of not really sensible anymore. Neither is this. None of this already, any of this makes sense whatsoever for this, so we'll leave that, and I will highlight this in yellow because it's not really adjusted. Okay, all right, so this is what we've managed to get done, which doesn't seem like a lot, but actually it's quite a lot. we actually got quite a bit done in one sitting, which I'm surprised, because I knew that this was going to be a little harder than the others. I was looking at it and thinking, actually, I've got some stuff, but I don't have as much as I would like. And yeah, so don't worry about it. We'll come back to this in about a fortnight. Not a fortnight? No, about 2 months. We'll come back to ghost towns in about 2 months. Mount on regulator Fred. Yeah, sure. Vogue, strike a pose. There's nothing to it. Really? Darian accounts, ledger, drawing. You guys have got so many different ideas here. You got so many ideas here. You guys have really come up with some great stuff. And I'm happy to see that's the case. And it's interesting that so few people have ever run a ghost town in their games. They're like only 16% of the people who voted actually have done it. So, 15%. 15% out of 19 votes have done a ghost town in their adventure. No, 73%. So there's so many people and just watching 10%. Okay, all right. So we'll definitely come back to the ghost town in about 2 months, and we will build it out some more, add a bit more of your ideas, and I will hopefully have more to add to it that's a bit more concrete for you. I was actually trying to do some research to see if anybody had discussed this topic before, and there's nothing. It's like dead. There's literally almost nothing out there that you can find. It's kind of pathetic. So this is going to be a lot harder to do than I'd imagine, because we can't draw from somebody else's experience. We've got to just do it from personal experience rather than somebody else's condensed information. In any case, I want to say a big thank you to my patrons who support me on Patreon so I can do this each week. We will be building an adventure tomorrow. Okay, Game Master Preparation is adventure building. So that's a big opportunity to muck around and build something out. We'll see what that will wind up being. I want to thank Buried Axe, Prepare, Cook, Survive, Fred Hubber, Noroak. I want to thank you to Vinny. There's a few others. Michael, who was here, Spirit Wolf. What was it? Dan was here as well. Hopefully I haven't missed anybody's name in here. All of you who have been commenting, it's been great to have it. Buried Axe, the whole bunch of you. You've really been great. It's been really, really nice to see the engagement. It's been wonderful. Don't feel bad if I didn't take your idea on. Okay? You never know with these things. And 2B was here as well. So thank you. Thank you for taking part in the poll, watching, listening, commenting, putting your time in, and hopefully this works for you in some way. Don't worry, we'll come back and we'll finish it off. It will happen. Get a lot more work next time round. I'm sure of it. So wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, the night, or the wee early morning, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours, if you have neighbours. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. All right, I will check it out, Noroak.